Today, I'm going to be telling you my history with Yu-Gi-Oh! This video was more for myself, but I'm very happy you ended up clicking this, so I will keep you waiting. Let's get into it. We're going to be starting this off in 2006. I was 5 years old by then. Me and my brother had a neighbor who had Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and I'm not sure about the detail, but he ended up giving the Yu-Gi-Oh cards to my brother, and then he came back home with like a deck of bulk pretty much, and he showed me, and the first Yu-Gi-Oh card I ever saw was Wriggle. You see that level 1 monster right there? That was my first ever the Yu-Gi-Oh card. We would like split the deck and then like play with those. It was great. I didn't understand the rules. Little by little we got to understand the rules by buying product, but it was very interesting. Like, you know, the fact that was like the start of my Yu-Gi-Oh journey pretty much. Please don't make spheres. Okay, you're making it Ding-a-ling Dragon. That's cool. Anyways, get nibbed. But yeah, continuing the story, I used to watch the anime as well when it played back in 4Kids. I used to like catch up as much as possible, and I still remember like after getting a bunch of like packs from, you know, from my mom and dad to be able to grab all the bulk we had to be able to make a chaos deck. I remember playing with those chaos decks. That was great. I have a very big attachment to Chaos Sorcerer, if anybody remembers that. Honestly, great cards. I love them. I still love them a lot. It was cool. We never played it competitively or anything. It was just like fun between us, and that's it. And then when I was in 2nd grade, I remember during my school, the Yu-Gi-Oh boom went crazy at the start of the Synchro era. So it was 2008, and pretty much during that time, everyone would have the starter decks. The junk starter deck. I don't know the name of it. It's like the Junk's toolbox or something starter deck. I don't remember, but it had a Class Fighter. It was during the start of Duel's Genesis, so some people had Goyo Guardian. It was really cool. But pretty much during that era, I used to love watching the animes. I would watch all the reruns as possible. I would love to catch up with GX and 5Ds. It was great. I loved Yu-Gi-Oh a lot, and it's so odd to think of, like, you know, the love I had then felt very like you know, very innocent and all. Now with like the competitive mentality I have with Yu-Gi-Oh feels very different. So it's just such a different feeling that I don't think I'll ever get back, but I don't really miss it much for me to be able to want to go back to it. But it was great. It was great. I still love those times. Check out this cool play, by the way. I'm gonna go Odd Eyes Vortex, targeting the Supreme King Game Edition, adding that back to hand. Thank you very much. The 2nd grade era, I used to love, you know, playing Yu-Gi-Oh. I knew the rules back then. It was great, but by the point that ended, I went to 3rd grade, and nobody I knew played the game besides my brother, and he would randomly play with me. He wouldn't play all the time, so it wasn't, you know, there wasn't much there. So I ended up having the deck kind of just stored in the deck box and never be touched again until Sexo came out. So once Sexo came out, I was in, I don't know what grade, but I ended up picking up the starter deck, the first one, and it was really cool. I was like, oh wow, this XYZ thing is really cool. I like it. Like, you know, you stack cards onto each other. That was very cool. But then I kind of got hit with the same reality of like, oh, okay, who do I play with? I have no one to play with at that point. So I was back to that. I ended up just like playing Yu-Gi-Oh against myself. I would just have the old deck that I had versus the built-in starter deck. It just like playing like against that. It was fun, you know, but like, you know, it's not as fun as playing with like another person. So that's what I will end up doing. And so after a bit, you know, that got tiring, and then I just didn't play Yu-Gi-Oh. Like, I avoided the entire Sexo era mainly because of that, because I just didn't have anyone to play with. And once I ended up going to high school, which the Pendulum era started, which is one of my favorite eras, or I think it is my favorite era of Yu-Gi-Oh, because I was like fully like starting to get into it. I never went to locals or anything, but I would play with friends all the time. I had many friends that play Yu-Gi-Oh. It was great. And there kind of started my kind of obsession with Yu-Gi-Oh, pretty much. Which yeah, that's kind of why I am a very big fan of like all the Pendulum stuff. It's because it kind of reignited that love for Yu-Gi-Oh that I was missing. And it came out at the perfect time where I could play with other people. So it was great. I loved it. I love Pendulum. I love Pendulum so much. It's great. And yeah. So for those who never knew, yeah, that's why I love Pendulum so much. It's nothing like super deep. It kind of is a bit deep, I guess, isn't it? But like, your option if you want to consider that deep or not. I remember building a really bad like Forma Power Magician deck. I used to love all the Yu-Gi-Oh stuff. It was great. While still being in high school, I ended up moving to another school, which did not have anyone who played Yu-Gi-Oh. However, it was the age of the internet. I can just, like get my friends to play like games against me on Yu-Gi-Oh Pro. Who remembers Yu-Gi-Oh Pro? Like I never knew I'd feel old mentioning Yu-Gi-Oh Pro. But yeah, like that was pretty much how we used to play back then with Yu-Gi-Oh Pro. Now it's known as Edo Pro, but like, it's the same. It's the same, honestly. It really is the same. Though by the end of the Arc V era, where we were going to be entering Master Rule 4, I ended up getting Pendulum Evolution. I just bought one box, and that was enough to help me build the entire deck. So I fell in love yet again. I love Pendulum Magician. This is like why I love Pendulum Magician. It is the deck that fully got me into competitive Yu-Gi-Oh. So I have a very soft spot for this deck, and I ended up going to my first ever locals. But I took a while. It was by the point that Electromite was going to come out, so I was already in the Link era. Where it was when I went to my first locals. I remember getting double evenly matched. I was like, man, I can't afford that card. Come on now. I went 2-1 because I lost against a Trickstar player. My round 1 was versus a guy who was playing a weird True King deck, and it was really bad. So, and then I just like absolutely destroyed him by using Ghost Ogre on Diagram. It was great. I absolutely destroyed him on that one. And my second round was against a Trickstar player that absolutely destroyed me with like the double evenly matches and all that. Then my round 3 was against someone who realized they were playing against like a high school kid, and then they like stopped playing. I don't remember what deck they were on though, but I remember he kind of gave up midway. And I was like, you got it. And then just left, probably because they knew they weren't gonna top. Probably because of the fact that the tournament was pricing for the winner only, so it really wasn't worth playing the last round. So I completely get that. That makes sense. Though, yeah, that was my first ever locals experience. I played 3 rounds, and yeah, that was pretty much it. So after going to that first ever locals, I didn't go to locals for the longest time. I had a fun time. The thing is that I just like never had a chance until like my friends started going. When they started going, they started taking me to events. But by the point that we did that, I was starting university. So pretty much we were college kids already. We were just going to locals at like from time to time. It was great. I ended up going to this locals that used to be very close to me, and they ended up closing down. So, which I used to have like a ton of vlog videos about, but they're currently down for good reasons. They're not great. Oh, I will share one of my favorite clips from back then. which is me pulling a Marisa seahorse. So here it is.
Come on. Come on. Wait a second. Wait a second. Whoa. Wait a second. Whoa. Wait a second. Whoa. Yo. Where's Maddie? Let's go. Let's go, boys.
So we pretty much kept this going until 2020. And you know what happens in 2020, you know, everyone's got locked in and all. So I have not mentioned the place where I started making videos. It was not 2020, though my consistency went up in 2020. So I used to make videos very randomly mixed in with Smash Bros videos. So I was not keeping an audience for anything. I was doing a really bad job at keeping an audience because of that. So because I kept on going back and forward to Yugioh and then Smash Bros and then Yugioh then Smash Bros. It's like that wasn't gonna work. So I ended up during 2020 making the channel just Yugioh only, which definitely has been the best decision because back then I used to have 100 subscribers. Did you know that? And fun fact, the channel started in 2014. Keep that in mind because you know, I really didn't do well at all. I was all a learning process until I made it to 2020. So hey, never give up. You will potentially have something that will hit. I'm not huge or anything, but it is what I have is enough to call it very much worth it. And you know, thanks to all of you guys that I am currently here. Thank you very much. I you know, love you all. You guys are great. And now we are getting into modern JJPM pretty much. So I just kept on posting. Like I ended up popping off in a lot of tweets. People started finding me more. People started subscribing to my YouTube. People, you know, just genuinely enjoyed me as me, which I love a lot. It's great. For all of you, thank you so much for watching as a whole, and you know, I appreciate all of you that you know the watch, you know, like and comment and just everything. You guys are great. And also, if you're still watching this video, which, you know, if you are listening to me right now, you should be watching this video. I appreciate you for wanting to listen to me talk and kind of ramble about my experience with Yugioh and how my love for the game has kind of like formed.